What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Belef of the almighty Noctem. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Happy to
Yeah,
be here.
anytime, man, anytime. It's so great to have you here. The newest album is Credo, certe, cras. Was this kind of just picking up where you left off after your previous album, the Black Consecration, or was this meant to be kind of like a new beginning for Noctem in a way?
Well, I don't think it's a new beginning. It's this band we are playing black metal during 21 years, so it's this album is something. I think something different, something more experimental, but I think it's more or less also connected with the previous albums of the band. Nothing really new or different about what we were doing on the last year. So we are comfortable with this, and I think people that was following us from years ago will appreciate it, and new people that's coming, I think, will enjoy it.
So it's gonna continue in a similar vein as albums such as Divinity or Oblivion, etc.
Yeah, I think so. Well, not maybe so, maybe not so connected with the previous album, with the first album, maybe with Divinity. But yeah, I think it continues with what we were doing with the album, the Black Consecration. I think it's quite connected with it, with the previous one.
Do you go into the making of each album with like a preconceived vision, or is there like a lot of experimentation and a lot of improvising involved within the songwriting process?
Well, this time it was different. We were working with EXO a lot of years ago. He was composing the music, and now the music, the composition, it's working hard on it, Mosh. So I think the process is totally different. He was composing and doing well. He came to the band with a lot of ideas, so we just were working on it, with him, and we were trying to do something different, but not totally focused in experiment with new music or new other ways to compose. So more or less it was in the same way than before, but with different people. So it's something different than new.
When it comes to like playing black metal in a way, like because black metal has been such a diverse terminology now, I feel like it's not just defined in the traditional sense of like mayhem or dark throne or emperor. I think it has evolved over the years with bands like Dimmu Borgir, and then bands like Life Lover, and bands have there's different subcategories of black metal. Do you follow black metal in the more traditional sense in a way, or are you like looking at other subgenres, if you will, of black metal to further experiment with your sound?
Well, it's hard to say. I listen a lot of music, and I think that there is kind of new bands, that apparently like Mangala or bands, yeah, the bands of the new wave that's doing great job, But also, I guess that if you listen black metal, for sure you are listening the main names of the style, the like you say, Mayhem or Gorgoroth and this kind of bands. But well, I think for me personally, I love the black metal that come from Scandinavia. That mainly I'm a freak of the black metal from Sweden. For me the best bands, black metal bands, come from there.
Yeah, definitely. I was just in Sweden for the first time this past summer, and it's just as metal and as intense as everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, as the vocalist of Noctem, do you need to hear music before you come up with lyrics, or could a lyrical idea maybe help dictate the direction of the music?
No, well, for make the lyrics, in the beginning we make all the music, and then I put the lyrics on it. So we and this time, for example, talking about the lyrics, this time we don't make the like in previous albums that we make something, this that have how to say it. Yeah, we try to make it different. Not like talking about ancient civilizations or misanthropy or taking only one term about to talk. We were talking on these lyrics more about occultism, black magic, and anti-religion. It was more transcending, about the human being and how people feel it, and we try to do something different about it.
Has there ever been a time where maybe your personal life or your personal experiences also became a subject matter that you want to address, or do you look at Noctem as just kind of like a pure escapism?
Whoa, how to say? Yeah, well, I think in the lyrics, yes, this is a part of. Yeah, I think in the lyrics and in the music, we put a lot of us, so you can feel it. You can feel how we feel with it and we ex- how to say it. Sorry, but my English is not not very good. No, yeah, it's a way to escape and to tell to the world something, to tell to the world how do you feel, your feelings, what do you have in your mind, in your heart, and yeah, this could be a way to explain it.
Does the feeling that you want to express, does that happen like spontaneously? Does that happen out of nowhere, or do you have like a usual place that you go to in order to cultivate ideas? I just interviewed Kampfar this past Monday, and they kind of have like a cabin like in the middle of the woods somewhere where they go to create different ideas. Do you kind of have a place that you go to collect ideas, or do ideas just come out of nowhere?
Yeah, usually it's come out, and it's I read a lot, I'm a good reader, and I read a lot of books of occultism and black magic and all this satanism. So a lot of ideas come from there. I don't need to. Here in Valencia, in Spain, we don't have that kind of forest and places where to go and feel, the inspiration. We find it reading, and it's other way.
Do you want Noctem's music to be open to interpretation, or do you try to maybe engage the listener into the meaning of the song as much as the actual music?
Well, I think people when listen to songs, some people feel like they feel the message. They feel like we are talking about this. The message of the band is about how they feel too. So this is the way that we create a communion with the listener, that they feel like we are talking about how they feel too.
And when you go by, this is I ask this question to every band in black metal. Some of them are cool with it, some of them hate it, but I do need to ask. When you go as, being that, you guys consist of Beleth and Vero and Vor and Moss and Tobai, like you have these aliases that you go by. Are you portraying somebody very different from who you personally are in the album and on stage? Is this like a character or an alter ego that you're portraying, or is this just a direct extension of who you personally are?
Well, it's a good question.
Thank you.
No, well, personally, I chose the name. Beleth it's a king demon of the Lemegeton, and it's part how I feel it. Now it's if you mean if it's an extension of me, probably it's that. It's how I feel it, and but it's when I am on the stage and when I'm working on Noctem. I think everybody have a regular life. I know people from big bands and that they have also his regular life, but when they are on tour, when they are on the stage, when they are doing his job in the studio, this is when the best come out, and you are another person. And so I think it's like this.
Hmm. Well, when you go into the studio, it's sometimes a more confined and more static and very controlled environment. Do you find it? Because when I listen to any Noctem album in your catalog, it's always true, it's always in your face, it's always brutal. But in a studio where it's a more controlled environment, do you find it a little bit of a challenge to sort of exercise who Beleth really is?
Well, yeah, actually, I hate the studio because it's not so organic, like to be on the show, and it's not so. Yeah, sometimes I think it's like it's fake. It's you're not doing it. You're not doing it real, but well, yeah, it's more or less what you say. It's the studio. It's something different, and to find it's that you have more options to do it perfect, to do it so you can control everything and you can repeat all that you need. It's not for sure. It's not like in life, but also it's quite. It's for me. It's more poor because you are not feeling the people and you are not having the same feeling. You are only thinking to do it perfect. So it's better, but for me it's worse.
You're not alone in that regard. A lot of people hate the studio and the stages uh, where they're feeling like they're most themselves. But could maybe having to sort of tame the Beleth that we know, that sort of that containment that you have to have, or that restriction that you put on yourself, that has to add fuel to the fire of creativity, right? It's almost kind of like does that help maybe use that sort of madness to your advantage?
Well, sometimes in the studio, for example, on this last album, we have the options to put some candles and to prepare the ambient, to make it more, more real, more comfortable for me, for example. And it's like you don't need to contain nothing. You only need to make that be in the best way, and to share out, all the negativity and all the bad feelings that you have inside, to share it to the micro and make your the best of you, I think.
Definitely. And when it comes to the concepts, kind of back what I asked about the lyricism, I've noticed that history and different forms of art are always usually kind of like the subject matter, whether it would be like what Satyricon has done with Edvard Munch or Nero, or certain natural disasters, or have we've seen with a lot of other black metal bands. Has there and we talked about how your personal experiences, I talked about your personal experiences before, but do you feel that like black metal is really not meant to be too personal in a way, at least in the traditional sense, since it always has like references of what it's singing about?
You mean about other bands that
Yeah.
are doing other bands that be doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I guess each band focus this about the lyrics in its way, and it's a good question. Yeah, I guess you can find everything, but yeah, then you can feel, I think this is my personal opinion, but when you listen some true black metal bands, like Scandinavian true black metal bands, the bands of the pioneers of the genre, you can feel that the lyrics are more pure, are more true. They are talking about feelings. They are talking, they are giving you something else. When you listen bands like Demo Warrior, Cradle of File, no, for sure. Well, I think today we can say that these bands are black metal, but the lyrics that they were doing years ago, it's like, fuck, what about, yeah, it's, lyrics for childs.
Yeah. Do you choose to document these things? Do you almost kind of want like a Noctem album to be like a black metal or musical documentary on these elements of misanthropy and history? Or is it almost kind of like your interpretation or your experience that you're singing about?
Yeah, I think it's more about my experience, or how. yeah, about that kind of feelings. No, not about the other stuff.
Okay. Now, I feel like there's a lot to celebrate in Noctem because it pretty much does mark 20 years of the band in 2022 since the Unholy Blood demo came out 20 years ago. I kind of wanted to go back in time a little bit. How has the evolution changed since you guys were making the Unholy Blood demo in 2002, and how did that influence from what we would hear off of Divinity and Oblivion and so on?
Wow. Oh my God. Well, actually, I'm the only one that remains in the band from that period, and I guess in in that years we played that kind of music. I don't know. It's something more like doom. We had three girls on the band. One girl playing violins, another girl playing bass, and another girl playing keyboards. So that was a totally different band, and we wanted to make extreme music, and we didn't know really how to do it. It was something more like doom or gothic doom or something weird, something totally different, And later in 2009, when we released in 2007, actually, we changed all the lineup, and it was only a guitar player and me. We remain on the band, and then we find other members. And in 2008, we started to make some tours. Our first European tour, and in 2009, we released the first album with Nice Hill Records, and it was, I don't know, I think the bad point is that the label in that period, the label make a lot of changes of the on the album, and they chose too much things and changed it too much. So yeah, it was a actually I when I listened that album, I think that it's not Noctem. It's not it's not that. It's not the essence. It's not what we are doing. It's no totally something totally different.
Well, you are a very prolific artist because in addition to Noctem, you also play with Obscure and like I'd imagine too. Does the creative process or the mind frame sort of change depending on what project you have been working with? Everything.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, in Obscure, actually, I'm just singing with them. They are my friends, and this Obscure is the band that they started in '89. It's like they are people that are playing music a lot of years, ago, and. And they have a leader, and they have very clear the way that they want to follow. So I'm only there, like singing. They give me the music and say, okay, make the lyrics and all the stuff, and it's totally different. I manage everything in Noctem, so it's other point. I hear the way to work between both bands are totally different, and yeah, and also the way to compose.
Yeah, because when I listen to "Darkness Must Prevail," it does seem like that there's a different attachment to what we would hear like off this new album, for example.
Yeah, well, yeah, good one. Yeah. That's the song of the first and the last album of Obscure. These guys are awesome. A lot of years playing, and they released the first album in 2019. And yeah, for sure, the way of singing and all the stuff in both albums is totally different. It's two bands different, and I also tried that people don't think that it's the same person, the same, it's ballet in both bands, Sometimes we play both bands together, and I first play with Obscure, and later I have to use the corpse paint on all the black metal outfit, and then go to the stage playing with Noctem. And yeah, the people say that, well, you never thought that it's the same singer. It's like, okay, fine. This is what you pretend.
And the final question I wanted to ask is about actually the use of corpse paint, because every known musician who utilizes corpse paint, whether it would have been Abbott or Euronymous or you name it, have always had different usages of it. They have their own distinct looks with corpse paint. Has the vision of the way you use corpse paint, did that come together as you were forming Noctem in a way? Was this like a vision that you had as you were making the music, or did the way that we see you in Noctem did that just happen like that?
Well, I think it's something that is happening from the beginning. So at some point, it's like we thought a lot of times that, hey, maybe we can stop with the course pain. And later we say, okay, no, it's something that we are doing 20 years, so we are not going to change it now. I think it's something typical of the black metal bands, and we feel comfortable with it. I think also the course paint, is something that, it's a part of the band. If you fix the show, in three parts, it's like one part is the visual, another part is the music, and another part is the show that we do on the stage, what we are making when we are up on the stage, that everything is crazy. We are moving like fucking maniacs and destroying everything. So I think when you feel this, I think if you take apart, the corpse paint or the visual of the band, then it's like it's not going to work in the same way.
Yeah.
It's not going to. I think it's when you have the all together is when fits and works good. If you take apart the show or the music or the visuals, then it's not Noctem.
Do you need to bring that visual with you in the studio too, or is that just another reason why you hate the studio?
No fucking way. No, this is hilarious. No, can you imagine me with corpse paint on the studio? No,
I mean,
no.
I've always wondered that, like, if a band has a visual element, like, Gwar isn't dressed the way they are when they're in the studio, and Behemoth isn't the way they are in the studio, and part of me wonders, because I get that image when I listen to the music, so I wonder if they have to be in that image when they're making it.
No, I think in the studio it's something more relaxed. You can have your candles, your incense, your essence, that the relax and to have, no, I don't think it will fit for us, to have the corpse paint on the studio or something else, no, not so ritual.
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to get blood on that console.
No.
Yeah, I feel bad for whoever owns the studio that Watain has to track out of.
Oh well, yeah, well, but then it's one of my favorite bands, man. These guys are incredible. I think it's from out of this world, man.
One of the best shows I've ever seen. One of the best interviews I've ever done too. Eric from Watain is a very, very intelligent guy. But I do wonder if they have to sort of bring in their visual aesthetic as well as their odor with them in the studio as well.
Really? No, well, yeah, I think these guys are great, man. Yeah, I think they take it super serious. It's life for them. I think black metal is pure life. I love it.
Definitely, it's more than just music. It is a way of life for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time and for such an awesome conversation just with the brand new album. And forgive me if in the beginning of this that I also mispronounced it, but with Credo, certe, cras, I said that the best I could. Is there just
yeah, it's okay.
Is there just anything else that you would like to promote in terms of shows? Can you maybe bring Noctem to the US one day?
Yeah, that's the idea. We are working on it. We got before COVID, we got some offer to tour the States, and we were super close to do it. But finally, it happened because COVID, and later we have another options to do it. But yeah, it was not possible at the end. Now we are working on it. We are in the beginning we are going to presenting the album here in Europe and Spain. We are going to make a tour here the next year. But as soon as we can, we wanna go there, and for sure with Monarch Heavy there supporting us and helping us everything that they are helping us. We want to go there and start to opening our fan base in the United States.
We'd definitely love to have you here. Thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Noctem. Be sure to check out Credo, Certe, cras. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.